You want to talk about Neil deGrasse Tyson?
Yeah.
Did you read his whole? Dude, that's like the best response you could possibly give to allegations that.
I don't know if I've.
You don't know if you believe him?
Yeah, completely.
Well,
because like he would kind of admit it, but he'd also like give a reason.
Right. Yeah. He very much like validated all the actions that he took, which I mean, of course,
He's very passive with it.
Of course, he's going to do that. Yeah, he is very passive, but it also came off to me as very honest.
I don't know. I feel like he just had a way with words.
He does, and I think he even said at the end of like his his long post that I don't know where he put it, but he even said, I'm the one getting accused, so like why would you believe anything I say? But I have to say something.
But he's very smart. Like him just saying that is smart.
Mm-hmm. He's sort of like
reverse psychology.
Yeah, there's a term for it. There's a term for what he did by saying that. No, it's not condescending. It's
sly.
I forget what it is. Sly because he slips it in there and it feels very genuine.
Maybe because personally, like I could see myself doing something like that, like writing some shit down like that. So maybe I just see that in him because I'm that way.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I could see that because if you were accused of something like that, for one, I mean, it's weird that it would come up now. One of the allegations was from 30 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Like, come on. And that chick's Facebook page, he said that like if you go to her Facebook page, there's like she uses tuning forks to harness the energy of the planets in our solar system.
Yeah, he was low-key like gunning her.
Yeah, he was. He was like, as a scientist, I find this very odd. Like, okay, yeah, she's kind of crazy, right? So to say that he raped and drugged her 30 years ago, you don't really know if it's credible or not. But we also don't know if he is.
He said, and this is also a lady who's been married for 20 years and has 3 kids.
Yeah, dude. It's so weird. She lived a whole 30 years before she decided to come out and say it, right?
I don't think he'll get in trouble at all, but...
Nah, I don't think so. I mean, now that he's done that, like, I don't think he'll get in trouble for it. It's the people that try and hide it, right? Brett Kavanaugh, you remember that guy?
Was that the Fox dude?
He was going to get appointed to the Supreme Court.
Oh, yeah.
The lady came out and said that he tried to rape her at a party, like when they were in high school, which was like another 30-something years ago. He refused to let the FBI investigate, right? So that makes him look a little suspicious.
Mm-hmm.
If he really had nothing to do with this woman, he would have let them investigate. But then you have the people that say, well, if he's innocent, why should you let them investigate? Because it looks good, right? If you let them investigate, then it seems like you have nothing to hide.
That's got to be a hard choice, though.
It is.
Because, like, you're told to, like, if you're not guilty, you don't have to testify. You shouldn't have to. You shouldn't feel the need to. But also, if you let them investigate, if you're not guilty, it doesn't matter.
Mm-hmm. And what if they find something else?
But saying that you don't want them to investigate, that's a little fishy.
Yeah, it seems fishy, right? But if he's innocent, why would he let them?
But if he's innocent, why would it matter?
Exactly. See, it's like a catch-22 kind of. There's no like right answer to it. And this whole Me Too movement is just like so.
It's kind of getting watered down, though.
It is. It's getting watered down, and I think people are taking advantage of it. Did you ever hear about? You know who Louis C.K. is? A redheaded comedian.
Yeah, that comedian. Yeah.
Looks like a dad. So there were some women that came out and said that.
Yeah, they banned him from Netflix or something.
Yeah, they said that like 20 years ago when he was just coming up. It always is like forever ago. It's always forever ago that these women come out and they say, "Oh, this guy did this to me." He wanted these girls to come back to his room and like he was like schmoozing with them and they walked into his room and he was sitting in like a chair like beaten off. And so then they called him out on it. Like, well...
But he didn't rape them?
No, he didn't rape them. He didn't drug them. And they walked out. So, like, what... yeah, he exposed himself to these women, right? But what's the point of them coming out and saying it right now other than to bring negative press on Louis?
Yeah. I don't even really know why the females do it, because what are they really going to get out of it? Besides, if they did get convicted, okay, so what? It's so long ago. Like, it doesn't really... well, I can't really say it doesn't have an effect on them, because if they actually did get raped, it does.
Right, yeah.
That's a tough one.
It's terrible. It's terrible if you get, like, with the lady that, accused Brett Kavanaugh. That sucks if she got raped at a party when she was 16, It's fucking terrible.
See, I don't think
I would never want that to happen to anybody.
I also don't think it's a coincidence that these women, it's always from like the 80s and 90s,
Mm-hmm.
because there were some painters at my job who are obviously older, and they said that's how things were back then. Like, there's no social media.
It was a different time, right?
Yeah, like cameras weren't really that, barely even anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
So like you go to parties, you fucking get
Shit
a girl
happens
wasted,
and
you rape her.
And it goes
I
away.
mean, it sounds horrible,
Right.
but unfortunately, that's how shit was back then.
Right. If you get fucked up, if you get blacked out drunk, you have no way to remember the night, right? Sometimes if I get blacked out drunk, maybe I'll wake up with pictures on my phone of some shit that went down. You know what I mean? There's much easier ways to document everything that went down when there are nights that you can't remember.
Mm-hmm.
So it was a different time then, and it's just weird that they feel like they deserve justice now. I mean, they do, but I don't know, it's hard.
I'm glad I don't have to deal with that shit.
Yeah, I'm glad I don't have to deal with it either. Not yet, anyway.
You mean when you have a daughter or something?
Can you imagine? Well, I mean, can you imagine like when we're like 30 or 40?
If this like pops off?
Yeah, dude. What
Wait,
about
he
then?
raped me.
Yeah, I mean, we have so much documentation of shit from all the way back. Like, you found those messages from, what, 2013?
Yeah, something like that. No, I was like 15.
That can be incriminating evidence sometime in the future,
That's why I kept them.
Blackmail.
It wasn't nothing too bad.
Keep a little bit of everything on everybody for blackmail. That's a power move right there.
How would you feel if 30, 40 years from now you had a daughter,
Mm-hmm.
and she's like 25, or no, like 50 years from now you had a daughter, she's like 30 something,
Mm-hmm.
and she says she got raped 20 years ago? How would you feel?
I mean, that would suck.
Would you
That would
believe
suck.
her? Like, if she's like accusing like
Oh, I'd have to.
somebody in public eye.
I'd have to. I'd have to believe her. But at the same time, I would question as to why she didn't come out when it happened.
Yeah, I don't understand that.
I mean, yeah, it's scary, right? But if you want something to be done about it, you gotta come out. You have to say something right then.
Yeah.
I can't imagine if I were a woman and I got raped that I would just like sit in silence for weeks and then months and years on end, knowing that if I came out and said something about this guy and accused him, he's probably going to go to jail.
Yeah.
I mean, there are there are tools that the cops use to test to see if you got raped. They're called rape kits. They can seriously. They're called rape kits. They can
it's just one cotton swab.
It's one cotton swab and they
She got raped.
tastes like
rape.
Tastes like grape. Grape. So, I mean, I don't know why, my only question would be why didn't she come
It has to be
sooner?
something psychological.
You think so?
Because if it's this common, there's some underlying factor that's like with everybody.
The fact that they're not coming out when it happened? Or the fact
Yeah.
that they're all coming out now is a psychological?
See, I personally don't believe there's no such thing as coincidences.
Mm-hmm.
So like this consistency of the Me Too movement, I don't think it's necessarily false, but just like the fact that it is so old,
Yeah.
that's what makes people just like question it.
I think it's
But
sort
I
of
don't think it's like most of it is a lie. I don't think that.
No, yeah, I think there's a lot of credibility to a lot of the women who say that they came out and something happened to them. But part of me feels like it's also a fad, sort of, right now.
Well, it's turned into that, I feel like.
Yeah, it's turned into
That's
a
what
bit of a fad.
everything turns into.
Mm-hmm. You can go and you can find stories of women who got sentenced to 20, 30 years in prison because they falsely accused multiple people of rape. You can find multiple stories like that,
Mm.
So I mean, we can't. The one problem I have with it is that everybody involved in the Me Too movement feels like you have to believe them right away. Which, I don't have to believe anything you say until I see evidence. Like, evidence absolutely matters, 100%.
But that's so hard, though, because what evidence is there from
Right.
the 80s?
Right. What besides, like, word of mouth, besides victim testimonies, there's a lot of the women that follow the Me Too movement have this idea that if you're a victim, you should be babied and coddled and believed all the time, which it's just not. If you want justice to happen, that's not how it works. You can't just believe the victim all the time. Because if we did that, that woman who falsely accused multiple men of rape, they'd all be in jail right now.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So you can't just give people credibility like that. And that's my only problem with the Me Too movement, is that
They expect
to be believed 100% of the time. Which, I mean, you can believe them or you don't have to, but it's just not the way the justice system works. You can't always just believe the victim because they're a victim. It just doesn't make logical sense to me.
Yeah, it's a tough one.
It is. And that's not, it sounds cold, and it sounds like I don't care about rape victims, which is not what I'm saying. I do, it sucks. I don't want that to happen to anybody, but at the same time, until, my logical sense tells me that I can't believe anything anybody says until there's evidence there, especially when you're accusing somebody of something as terrible as rape. You just can't do it.
I don't really understand rape. Like, I don't see. It's not really that hard to get some
rape?
butt. No, to get some. If you wanted some butt, you can get some. If you wanted to. Unless you have absolutely zero confidence.
What you look like.
Not really though. Anybody can get fucked.
You think so?
Anybody. There's somebody out there for everybody.
I think so too.
It's just like people are impatient, I feel like.
People are impatient and
I was talking to, sorry to cut you off, but I was talking to Alicia last night. What is even the satisfaction in rape? Because have you ever fucked a girl and she gets dry while you're fucking her and it doesn't feel that good anymore?
Mm-hmm.
That's probably how it is the whole time during rape, so how's that even fun?
It's got to be a power thing, man. It's got to be a power trip.
Just seeing them down and crying and shit.
Yeah, and you asserting your dominance.
I
It's
guess,
got to be a
but
power thing, dude.
dick still doesn't feel good unless you use hella lube or something.
Right. I mean, you'd be sitting there slapping.
Because no girl's going to get wet if she's getting raped.
No.
Unless she likes it, if she's a whore. Or you
That's
fuck her butt.
It's so fucked up, dude. We're not gonna be able to use any of this. That's so fucked. We're not gonna be able to use any of this, dude.
Fuck it.
Oh my god. Oh well. Whatever, dude.
I'm gonna get accused 20 years from now. He's making fun of butt rape.
Eli's saying girls like butt rape. What the hell?
Did you
Fucking
see?
psychopath.
You see, the LGBTQ community is trying to not abolish, but not get people to say butt hurt because they say it's offensive.
How? How's it offensive?
Because
sometimes
two
my butt
dudes
hurt after a poop, dude. My butt didn't only hurt after rape.
they take offense because I guess their butt gets hurt when they get fucked. I'm for real. That's an actual thing right now.
Dude, I hate people sometimes. I seriously fucking hate people, dude.